You've heard of him, haven't you? The man that flies around, the giant man bat that night. You've heard of the stories. You've heard of these things that have happened. You've heard of the weird things that could never be impossible, never seem like of the unordinary. Never could you dream that ever they were real. That is, until today. For I have for you a collection of short stories following one man on his adventures. These are stories as if you never heard them before. This is the tale of the Gotham Knight. Greetings, listeners, and ladies and gentlemen, Mighty Nerdy, and we're talking about the infamous Batman Gotham Knight, a revolutionary film that came out after the success of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. These were stories held together by a lot of writers from Batman the Animated Series and as well as movies. It's a collection of such people, such as David S. Goyer, Josh Olson, and including Alan Burnett. Each individual person would write a story with each individual short in this handled by a different animation studio. Talking about this movie or series is kind of difficult to do since there are 6 short stories following around Batman. But I can tell you something interesting before we get into the picture. And something that you might not see to believe. That in fact, aside from one very popular voice actor in this, Batman in this series was supposed to be voiced by 6 individual people. And that's not a joke. Upon the 6 incarnations of Batman, one thing was remained consistent, and that was Batman's voice, but at first that was not the actual intention behind the series. As yet this Batman was supposed to have 6 various different voice actors before choosing one, and it is a very iconic choice, so who are they gonna get? For example, Christian Bale was supposed to make his epic comeback, especially after doing The Dark Knight. He was supposed to be one of the many voice actors joining upon this movie. Another casting decision was going to use Diedrich Bader, who was becoming more and more famous thanks to the likes of Batman the Brave and the Bold that was airing on Cartoon Network around the same time this was releasing. As yes, even the talented Will Friedle was also supposed to make an appearance voicing one of the Batmen, but unfortunately, none of these chosen actors were chosen in the fact of the end of the movie. As instead of using 6 different voice actors, everybody decided that it was probably best to have Batman all be voiced by one iconic voice actor, and that's none other than Batman himself, Kevin Conroy. Shut up. Now, I'll admit, freely offhand, that when they announced that Kevin Conroy, instead of getting Christian Bale, Will Friedle, or even Diedrich Bader, to be in this movie or series, I was a little bit bummed out because I love Kevin, but I can't imagine Kevin doing a young Batman. Anyways, he does an awesome Batman voice, but there are a few episodes that had him voicing a younger Batman. And you would be surprised of how well that he can handle a younger Batman. Now, you all know what Kevin's iconic voice sounds like, but I swear to you not, just try to remember what Kevin sounds like really quick. Oh, wait. You open up a new tab. Open up Google. Open up YouTube. The search Kevin Conroy's iconic voice for Batman. Oh, wait. Okay. Right here. Are we good? We all know what Kevin sounds like? Okay. Now try to picture what Kevin Conroy officially sounds like, and then listen to his young Batman voice.
Charity golf tournament Ronald Marshall is holding. He's someone I'd like to meet.
Actually, I wasn't gonna go. Mr. Marshall's reputation is getting a little
To deal with my pain. Alfred, can you hear me? I have a gunshot victim, severe bleeding in the shoulder. He needs assistance, now.
During this moment, Kevin showed off just how much of a voice actor he can be and how much range that he has, as this was a great way to do it. As, yeah, I hate to admit it, but the man has some damn vocal range. The only thing is, we're talking about Gotham Knight is that it's a little bit difficult to talk about because there's 6 different stories. Yes, I could review all 6 stories, but I'd be here for a while because all 6 stories all share a different, well, premises. So instead, I'm going to review my 2 favorite episodes of this. I'm going to review my top 2 favorites, as we're going to be taking a look at both of them, and you kind of get an idea what this series is going for. Every single individual episode or segment is a different story of how people view Batman. So we're going to take a look at 2 of my personal all-time favorites, and the first one that we have to deal with has Batman in probably one of the darkest places that he's ever been. So let's talk about my 2 favorite episodes of Batman Gotham Knight, starting with Working Through Pain. Now this one we really have to delve down under. While Batman deep down underground, he accidentally ends up getting shot. As a lucky punk finally got lucky and shot the Dark Knight detective, which had Batman think back to when he was officially helping out as a nurse, especially during war efforts. We flash back to when Batman was a young man trying to basically find a teacher to train him and to train him into becoming the Batman, but one teacher in particular will not train him. So Batman and his companion try to go to her to convince her into letting Batman basically stay with her. And of course, Batman being Batman lied to her.
I'm Batman Ing.
I'm Batman. I'm awesome. I got a 9-pack.
And so, after the world's greatest lying detective gets his way, he is finally trained in the ways of the teacher, finally trained how to deal with the pain that he suffered. That is until a couple drunkards want to deal with Batman's teacher, so of course Batman being Batman thought he should intervene, and Batman kicks their fucking asses. Batman goes back to check on the teacher, who tells him that he shouldn't leave now. Batman is confused that he now notices what his true goal is. It's not to work to pain, but for vengeance. And so, after Alfred received the message to go pick up Master Bruce, he suddenly can, but Bruce is having a problem getting out of the hole because of what he has found.
I can't.
As yet, the thing that Batman feared and hates the most was down there with him, down in the depths, haunting him, taunting him, reminding him. It's pretty obvious that in Working Through Pain, it becomes pretty apparent that the aforementioned goal of Working Through Pain is to remind people. Even the costume is pretty much dead on accurate. This is Batman's first year being Batman, so he hasn't necessarily worked through the night his parents were murdered, which does make sense, and also Batman goofing up and getting shot did happen a lot in Batman's first year. He did not become the great detective and great crime fighter that he is up until around his fifth year, as he made a lot of pickups. And also, that final reveal at the ending was great, especially hearing Batman in a sad voice saying, I can't, trying to take all the guns out of Gotham, basically trying to undo what happened to his parents, which is a wonderful message. So, this short story was to remind people of the trauma that Batman had experienced and that he cannot move past that. That while Batman may be a great fighter, he still had some hiccups along the way, and particularly the biggest hiccup that Batman possesses is the fact that he can not move past what happened to him when he was only 8 years old. That's moving us into my only, well, I have more than 2, but we're just gonna do 2 for this episode, or review, mind you. And we're gonna move on to my second favorite episode, which is a great contender of what would happen if the world's greatest detective fought the world's greatest marksman. Deadshot. What would happen if Batman ever faced off against the thing that he hates most, guns? This is the great adversary as we open up to Batman years later. As yes, for Brucey, he cannot move past the experience that happened to him when he was 8 years old, that I was just talking about, and I'm not going to go on a rant because otherwise it'll just take too long. as Alfred comes in with a bag of guns for Master Bruce, and Bruce said that yes, he hates guns, but even he can still appreciate the beauty behind such a fine crafted weapon. As a man, probably Carmine Falcone, is hiring Floyd Lawton, aka Deadshot, to take down the Batman after what he had done to him and his family. And so it becomes the will of world's greatest detective versus world's greatest marksman, and it is awesome. I never thought I would love something as much as this, but here we are. This is also a great way to show off what would happen if Batman ever crossed the line that he knows he shouldn't cross, especially against somebody who is known as the world's greatest assassin against him. As our episode ends with Batman being patched up, running for a long night, and probably do a long night's rest, but not before he sees the bat signal one final time. So, do I recommend Batman Gotham Knight? Oh, by the way, it's a steelbook. Yes, this is a great animated achievement, and you might walk away with one or maybe two favorite segments from the entire film. This is an awesome animated achievement, and nothing had been like it before. Though I remember that they were talking about doing an animated series called Batman Gotham Knight, having different segments handled by different teams and animators, but the project would have been too expensive, so Warner Brothers and Warner Premiere dropped the project, especially since Kevin Conroy was not going to be available since he was going to be working on Batman Arkham City. So, unfortunately for the guy, he was a very, very busy man, also working on several other Warner Brothers projects at the same time. But still, it is worth it. It is a wonderful and lovely animation and animated appearance, and also just an animation spectacle just about that. It is one of the best animated that you can ever see, and even for just like a series or a movie, this is still one of the best that you can go out there and get. And this is legendary, and it lives up to the legend that Kevin Conroy left behind. That's why my Funko Pop rating of Batman and Gotham Knight is gonna be a Blade from Deadpool and Wolverine, because it is nothing short of that of a legend and legendary. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every single time I upload. I've been using your voice, I wouldn't know to keep it on and let me know what you thought about Batman and Gotham Knight in the comments down below. And you know, it's weird. For the past 3 videos, I've seemed to have used horror themed or spooky themed or supernatural themed Funko Pops. But that's insane because nothing. I mean, nothing. I mean, nothing. My. Just. No! Not again! Yes, my time has finally come. For you know what happens next week, don't you? Boys and ghouls, let the lazy wing season begin.